Thank you for attending today's post-game press conference of Hofstra Men's Lacrosse. We are joined today by head coach Seth Tierney. Before we open the floor to questions, Coach, give us your thoughts following today's game against Long Island.
Yeah, incredibly disappointed. We learned how to win. Up 3 at one point. Get a good look at the goal. Doesn't go, goes down the other end, up 2. And we gave them, we gave them a couple of 2-goal swings that we didn't put away. And then to give up 7 goals in the fourth quarter is just not acceptable. It's just not. Our goalie had 14 saves, I get it, but we gotta help him out. We're not doing well with the face-off X. He got us there, which in turn tilted the ground ball stat. And we gotta learn how to win games like this. Questions?
Coach Rexack with WRHU. You mentioned face-off, we talked about in pregame as well. What exactly happened in the face-off circle in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, the guy, all game long, their guy was just on the whistle. I mean, there was nothing, there's no complaining. It's their guy was on the whistle every time, which turned into that stat tilted their way. And then even the ones that we did win, some of the wing play went their way, and we have to make it go our way. So that was certainly a big stat, not in our favor today.
How did the team keep morale up regardless of the score?
Yeah, I mean, we fought to the end. I'm not upset about. There was no giving up. There's none of that. But there's got to be, in times when things aren't going your way, we need some leadership. We need a calming force out there, and we're still looking for that at this point.
Coach, we saw some uncharacteristic penalties during today's action. What would you say contributed to that?
Yeah, I mean, again, referees had a better look at it than I did. They're one by our crease. I mean, if they touched our goalie, then it's a little bit of a rule in hockey. You gotta protect your goalie, right? He's not equipped to handle himself with all the padding and all the other stuff. And again, the referees, they're not the reason why we lost. It's not. They saw it that way, and our guys, we started to get a little bit of emotional, and we need to make sure that we play with emotion, but don't play emotional, right? You got to play with it. It's a game that needs to be played with emotion. This is a helmet sport, so there's going to be some bumping and hitting and things that are going to go on out there. But you can't get emotional over it. You just got to continue to play with some smart emotion.
Hey Coach, Bud Dragone, WRHU. On the positive side, what do you make of Rory Jones's performance today?
Yeah, I mean, Rory he's a scrappy player. He had 3. Probably the biggest one that he had was a ground ball down the far end and coming around and digging that out. He played. I think people started to assume that there was going to be a whistle, and there wasn't. And he picked it up and swung around in front of the goal and stuck one. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not an excuse. This is Rory's 3rd game in probably 3 years, right? The pandemic, he's sitting out a year, double hip operation, and now he's here. So, it's we got to get some games under his belt a little bit. Colton Rudd's been out for a little while. This is his first game back. Gerard Kane got nicked up at halftime, and we're still short. Sam Lutfi, Sterling Audrey, Dylan McIntosh. Those would be 3 starters for us, and they weren't in the lineup tonight.
How are you feeling about the consolation game that's going on 3 p.m. I believe on Sunday?
Yep. Well, we're just we're certainly going to be excited to get back out there to get this an opportunity to get this feeling gone, but we don't know who we're going to play. Obviously, they're going to play now, and we'll find out who we're playing. We have 2 scouting reports ready to go, and we'll just pull the one out that we need.
And do you think you'll change much strategically?
I don't think we're going to change much strategically just in 48 hours. Maybe a little bit of personnel will change. A couple of guys that have been practicing hard, maybe it's their time, until we can get some of these guys back. Danny Oaks we were missing today as well.
Coach, you mentioned injuries. How much do you think that did tilt the balance of today's game?
Yeah, I mean, Danny Oaks is a senior. Sam Lutfi's an older guy. Dylan McIntosh is in his 5th year. When I talk about that calming influence, those guys played a lot of lacrosse games for us, and they're not out there. So we're replacing them with, guys that this is their first time out there. But listen, every coach deals with injuries. We just have to, there's no excuse. We have to do a better job with that.
You mentioned before that you were looking for leadership in times like this. Who specifically are you looking to when you have all these injured players that can't even be on the field?
Yeah.
But specifically, like, what leaders are you looking for?
Yeah, it's an appropriate question. Like today, I don't know how many games Colton Rudd has played for us, but he was our most experienced attackman, and he hasn't played a ton of games for us, right? And Gerard Kane, he's basically a freshman. He didn't play last year, and neither did Rory Jones. So it's 2 freshmen and a guy that played limited games started the game for us. It's a guy that would be on our first midfield, Sterling Audrey. He's a guy that could, maybe draw some slides for us and do some of those things. And he's out. And then Danny Oaks, we had Will Delaney running out there. He's a freshman, and Danny Oaks is a guy that would be a little bit of a force on the wing. Those scenarios, they happen. There's no excuses. There are teams that just have to play with what you got. And I want to make it clear. I love our guys. I love them even more now, right? Because now we're going to be in a foxhole together, and we're going to fight our way out of it. When people start to question us, let them question us. But I love our guys. I love the fight that's still in that locker room, and I can't wait to start coaching them again.
So, Coach, starting year 2-0, losing 2 straight, what is your message to your team at this point in the season?
Yeah, I didn't, to be perfectly honest with you, we don't let many people in our locker room. I didn't want to say anything emotional. I think we were all emotional. So we're gonna meet tomorrow at 9:30. We have to wait to see who our opponent's gonna be. Told them that I was disappointed. Gonna go and watch the film and see if there's a trend. We've got a running stat of all of our games, and sometimes we get caught up in certain scenarios, but that the stats will tell us, is it time that we need to make a change? I don't want to make a change just to make a change, because then the young may get younger, and I don't want that to happen either, right? We got to get experience with some of these guys, and sometimes you have to live through these types of scenarios. So my hat goes off to LIU and their staff and their players. Those guys played hard.
There are no more questions at this time. This concludes the post-game press conference. Coach, thank you.
Thank you, guys.